Number one, we talk about always leading with service, always building rapport first, earning the seller's trust before we ever open up the negotiation process. Now, where this is a really strong play, because again, we want to get to know them up front, here's another ring that we can throw into the mix, especially when you have high lead volume. Let's talk about the process of qualifying leads. In the previous video, we talked about the importance of having a lead manager who can tee up the inbound leads and hand them off to your acquisitions manager in order to get ready for the close. Now, this video, we're going to go over the lead qualification process. What do we do when we're qualifying leads? You want to be able to pre-qualify a lead within the first 3 minutes of a call, right? This process should be ironed out, it should be efficient, and you should have key bullet points that you're following every single phone call in this process. Again, going back to the lead buckets, here's another view of it. Every single lead that comes into your pipeline should get a name. Every single lead, hot, warm, or cold, needs to get assigned to one of these lead buckets so that you can efficiently process these leads as you move forward in your seller sequence. Now, lead qualifying script and qualification process doesn't need to be complicated, doesn't have to be this lengthy process. There's just a couple key things that you want to touch on. Now, we do have some seller scripts, cold calling sheets, negotiation packets that can help you guys really dial in what this process looks like stretched out. But for now, I want to give you the basics, right? There's no need to overcomplicate the system and put more methods and more rules in your sales process than we need to. So going back to the fundamentals, the goal here is just to touch on the key points so that we're capturing the information that we need. Number one is the introduction. You can see here, right? Intro. Introduction is simply introducing yourself, who you are, and the reason for the call. Hi, this is Ben. I catch you at a good time? Yeah, now's a good time. Perfect. I just wanted to give you a follow-up in regards to your property at 123 Main Street. Or if you're calling on the fly, let's say that you have a seller that's calling your phone and they've been in the CRM before, or your lead manager's handing them off to you, you can pivot like this. Hey, just stepping into the office, can you please provide me with the property address so that I can pull it up in my notes, right? So step 2 in this process is property address. Let's confirm, number 1, that we do have the right property address. Now, a perfect example of this is where we have inbound leads coming from our cold callers, and we've ran into situations where we actually have the wrong address listed inside of the template. Let's go ahead and breeze over to our Slack channel real quick, just for a quick example. So going to the appointment tracker screen, right? Let's just use this one as an example. Let's say that the property address is listed here, 12306 Forest Gate Drive, South, Jacksonville. Well, what if Mary accidentally input 12308 and we happen to have the neighbor's address? Or it's a different city, or we've even had this where we're calling a certain address. Say we called for 12306 Forest Gate Drive. The owner owns this property. However, the property that they're actually interested in selling is a completely different property address completely, right? So again, the reason that you are using the property address question is to make sure that we have the right data, the right information, right? Now, number 3, there's 2 ways to look at this step and 2 psychologies as far as your seller process. Number 1, we talk about always leading with service, always building rapport first, earning the seller's trust before we ever open up the negotiation process. Now, where this is a really strong play, because again, we want to get to know them up front, here's another ring that we can throw into the mix, especially when you have high lead volume and you're going through a lot of leads. And that's asking for the asking price up front. Now, I encourage you guys as you go through each process to really figure out what type of closing style works best for you. But in this training example, just for lead management and breezing through these things up front to see if we have interest before going through a lengthy pre-qualifying process, some cases we'll just have our acquisitions team ask this right here. Hey, thank you so much for providing the property address. Did you happen to have a price in mind of what you wanted to sell the property for? Right? So we're nicely asking if they had any idea what they wanted to sell the property for, right? What is their asking price? Now, why is this important? One, we can move on with our day and stay productive by identifying if this could potentially be a lead or if it's even a conversation worth pursuing, right? So by throwing the little ringer in there and catching the seller off guard by, hey, did you have an asking price in mind, right? We're catching them off guard, but we're also getting a ballpark number of where they want to be, right? So as far as your process and how you handle this, completely up to you. 4, we always want to see the occupancy, right? Is the property tenant occupied? Is it seller occupied? Or is it vacant, right? What is the occupancy status? This is important because 1, it can affect the offer. 2, some of our buyers may not be equipped to buy a tenant occupied property, right? If it's seller occupied, well, what are their next steps in the process, right? Did you have a property lined up? Like, what's your next step? We got to know the occupancy to figure out what's the best fit. Beyond that, timeline, right? How soon do they want to sell? Hey, if we're able to put together a price that worked good for you guys, how quickly did you want to close, right? Is it 30 days? 60 days? 90 days? This is all important information for us to have in the arsenal so that we can craft our offer to best fit that seller's needs. Number 6 is condition, right? What is the condition of the property? Well, obviously, this is going to affect our purchase price every single time, right? So the best way to tackle this, hey, can you tell me a little bit about the condition of the property? How long have you owned the property, right? Have you done any upgrades within the past 5 years? You always want to compliment them in the process. Hell, hey, looks like you've taken good care of the house, or looks like a great neighborhood. Can I ask your reason for selling it? Right? We always want to get to those motivational questions in our process. But as far as condition, if they haven't made any upgrades, I get it. Sounds like it might need some upgrades just to bring it back to current market standard. Would you agree? Right? Always leaving with an open-ended question encourages the sellers to continue talking in the process. And in negotiations, you always want to allow the seller to lead. You want them to talk. You want them to open up and feel comfortable because that is going to help to open up and build rapport in the process as well. Right? Now, after you've identified all these qualifying questions, right? Property address, asking price, occupancy, timeline, condition. Is every decision maker present, right? We can go in depth, which we'll touch on in the negotiation section. But for now, we're just qualifying the lead and making sure that they are a good fit. And at the end of the call, are they still raising their hand saying, yes, I'm interested in selling, right? And if all this fits, we push on to the negotiation stage, right? Now, depending on how your business is set up, your lead manager may be the person that's doing these qualifying questions. If you're operating with virtual assistants who are in the Philippines or different countries, some of you don't want them closing, right? We just want them to gather the information, again, to tee it up, to set an appointment for your acquisitions manager or your closer, right? So we'll just touch every bullet point in this process map, and we'll slide it on to the next step in that mind map over to the negotiation stage. You guys want to dive in deep with negotiations, go straight to the negotiations module.